Game key cards by Nintendo on the Nintendo Switch 2, they're kind of controversial right now. On one hand, you can put it in your hands, you can hold it. So it's kind of like a physical release, but it's really not a physical release. It's not a physical game. It's really just a code to download a game. That's really all it is. On the surface, that might not sound like a terrible thing, but for people who really want physical games, this is not really what they want. When this is the only option you give for a physical release, quote unquote, that's not really going to make some of the physical game enthusiasts, too happy. Especially when you talk about stuff like game preservation, that sort of thing. These game key cards are essentially just a digital download. That's all it is. It's not like having a physical game. Now, one of the reasons developers and publishers will go with these game key cards is that it can cost a little bit of money to ship your games on like physical cartridges, especially for much smaller publishers. And well, you see, it turns out there might actually soon be kind of a good alternative that's going to make physical game releases on the Nintendo Switch 2 a lot more viable, so we might actually see a lot more of them going forward. So I got all this from this Video Games Chronicle article right here, and I've got it in the description. It's very, very good. There's a ton of details, but basically it is saying that the cartridges right now, they just default at 64 gigabytes. That's the total memory that they have, and that can be a bit of a problem. That can lead to a lot more costs than you need when, let's say, you're maybe a small indie dev or publisher and your game is only like 1 or 2 gigabytes, but you're paying basically the base cost for these 64 gigabyte cartridges. So the sort of leaked solution apparently now is that Nintendo, they are going to offer alternatives to the 64 gigabyte variants. They are going to have 16 gigabyte and 32 gigabyte cartridges, which in theory are probably going to be much cheaper. So the leak apparently came from a developer and publisher called ININ. I don't know if there's a certain way to say it. I had never heard of them. Now, when I look at their page, one game that sticks out to me is a game called Shenmue 3 that they published. I had not heard about that game until a couple weeks ago. I made a video on Shenmue. There was a fake video that was going viral on X on, I think it was a Shenmue 4 trailer. Anyway, kind of just an interesting tidbit there. So the article, again, it says that so far the cartridges are only 64 gigabyte variants, but now apparently they might be 16 and 32 gigabyte variants. This was kind of floating around from an X account, but then this was seemingly corroborated, it says in that last paragraph, by the developer ININ, which announced on social media that its upcoming R-Type title would now ship with the whole game on its Switch 2 card after, quote, Nintendo announced 2 smaller cartridge sizes for the Nintendo Switch 2. Yeah, so they just point blank kind of spilled the beans on this, and I don't think that they meant to at all, because then they very quickly came out with this X post right here, where they kind of just had to make a correction. They said, we need to make a correction regarding our earlier statement. They said there's been no official announcement or confirmation from Nintendo regarding different cartridge storage capacities, and at this time, all we can confirm is that we are going to be releasing this game on a physical cartridge, and that's it. Yeah, so essentially, I think they kind of just accidentally kind of spoiled Nintendo's announcement here. So yes, a lot of people were quick to point out that this could mean more physical releases. Less physical releases that are just on the game key cards, which, as I said, are not really physical releases to begin with. Overall, definitely good stuff for the physical gaming community, especially when it comes to game preservation for Nintendo games.